WRTV across our communities. Winter Outlook.
Snow, sleet, ice, chilly rain, bitter cold, sunny blue skies, and quickly changing conditions. They all add up to winter in Indiana. There are a few things in life that have an impact on all our communities, and the weather is one of them, especially in the winter.
While winter hasn't officially arrived quite yet, we're here to get you prepared for the months ahead. Thanks for joining us. I'm WRTV Chief Meteorologist Todd Clausen, along with meteorologists Kyle Mounts, Chris Swain, and Macy Tetrick.
And think about it. Weather impacts so many aspects of our lives, positive and negative. School closures, canceled trash pickup, missed mail delivery, and travel troubles.
But there's also the thrill of sledding down a hill, going tubing, or building a snowman when snow falls.
No matter if you love or hate winter or fall somewhere in between, we're here to make sure you and your family have the information you need to weather the weather, whatever comes your way.
Each year, the biggest question heading into winter is how much snow and ice will we see? And I know that grabs the headlines, but winter isn't just about the snow. Temperatures can have a big impact as well on humans, on roads, and on infrastructure. There are many things to consider when coming up with a winter forecast, and La Nina and El Nino are probably the two terms that you have heard the most. This year, we'll start with a weak La Nina before it fades. The two words that come to mind for this winter are going to be active and also variable. Now, keep in mind, active doesn't always mean a lot of snow. It could be rain, it could be a mixed precipitation as well. So for this winter, we feel temperatures are going to run a bit below normal. Precipitation is going to be a bit above normal. And then snowfall is going to probably run a little below normal as well. And we'll dive into all these topics for you coming up in just a little bit.
No matter where you live in the Hoosier State, if you have children that attend school, the weather will impact your lives and schedules at some point with delays, closings, or early dismissals. WRTV anchor Nicole Griffin has been looking into how those decisions are made.
Yeah, Kyle, I talked to two local school districts, one in a rural area and one right here in the Circle City, and I learned the decision to delay or cancel school, well, it starts very early in the morning. Lawrence Township says they try to make the call by 5 a.m. It starts with district leaders going out to assess the roads for drivability of buses. And one unique aspect for Lawrence Township, they do have hills in the area, so that plays into the decision. For Frankton LaPel Community Schools, they're in Madison County. They send out 2 spotters to check for snow and fog with so many county roads in the area and students traveling a further distance than those here in the city. So they have to take every road into consideration by about 4:30 a.m.
We have some country roads that don't have center lines and or sidelines on them. So they, in fog weather, they try to see how far their visibility is. If we have 2 districts that touch us that have delayed or canceled, then it's a real serious consideration. Just helps us to solidify our view of the conditions of the roads.
What is going to be the drivability of those roads and the ability for our students to access the buses, because that snow has to go somewhere. I'm really focusing on snow, but there are other situations that might result in a delay or even potentially a closure, and those are the extreme temperatures.
In Lawrence Township, they do have a 2-level closure system. So level 1 means preschool remains in person, but level 2, everything shuts down. Another aspect, of course, Kyle, the temperatures outside. They do have to think about that. Now, I did find it interesting. Both districts tell me they talk to nearby school districts to see what decisions they're making so they can make a more informed decision as well.
Yeah, communities working together. And when you need school closing information, you'll always find it at WRTV.com. And when there are multiple closings or delays, we'll have that ticker at the bottom of your screen.
Besides school or work, our home generally is where we spend the most time every day. And now's a good time to start thinking about preparing our homes for the lower temperatures that come with winter. WRTV Northside reporter Casey Zanowick talked to experts in her community about what you should know ahead of the winter season.
There are a number of hardware stores here on the north side that you can turn to for those winter maintenance needs. Whether it's preventing your pipes from bursting or filling up those drafty windows and doors, places like Sullivan's are here to help.
Even I can do it.
Bob Bond works here at Sullivan's Hardware and Garden on Keystone Avenue. He's seen a trend the last few years.
Usually when we get that first real hard freeze, that first time that it gets really cold, we'll get people coming in.
If you wait until something goes out, then you're probably thinking about a much larger repair bill.
That's why preparing early is so important.
If you're neglecting your furnace, I guarantee that on that cold January morning is when it's going to go out.
If you kind of get in your mind like, oh yeah, a year ago or 2 years ago, or my neighbor had this issue, maybe I ought to do something about it. Now is a really good time.
There are several easy ways to do it.
If you got exposed pipes, you take something like this and you just wrap it around the pipe there, and it will make it so it's more likely to stay warm rather than freeze from being exposed.
To make sure your windows and doors are sealed well, because you can lose a lot of draft through the windows and doors if they're not.
Yeah, look for cracks and crevices. Look for anywhere where birds and mice might get into, that kind of thing.
Furnace tune-up, gutters cleaned, weather stripping.
And they stress if you do have an emergency, don't panic.
We've been through this. You know, we live here and we know all these same problems.
On Keystone Avenue, I'm your Northside community reporter, Casey Zanowick, WRTV.
When it gets cold, heating your home can be expensive. So here are a few tips to keep those costs from skyrocketing. Start with changing your air filter, usually done every 3 months, and that'll cost you about $20 or less. Experts say an annual HVAC tune-up is also essential, and that'll run $75 to $100. Again, keep cold air out by sealing doors and windows. An energy audit with a utility or energy company can help identify where those gaps are. Another savings tip: buy yourself a programmable thermostat for less than $100. Driving in winter weather presents its own challenges, as we've already seen so far this season. And many of us, well, we don't have the opportunity to stay home when it's snowy or icy. Meteorologist Chris Swaim talked with some experts about how to make your drive as safe as possible.
When the snow starts to pile up in central Indiana, road conditions can get dicey quickly. While the salt trucks and plows do their part, what's on your car might matter more than how you drive it.
When I was growing up, my dad used to call tires, he said, don't get the Maypop brand. I didn't know what the Maypop brand meant, but Maypop means that if you don't have the right tires, they may pop on you.
Dr. James Dix teaches drivers every day. His first winter driving lesson: preparation starts before you pull out of your driveway.
Before you leave the house, you definitely want to start off by making sure you have your car cleaned off before you get started.
That includes clearing all snow and frost off your car from bumper to bumper. Do not leave what I call the snow mattress on top of your car. That's the 4-inch thick block of snow that can fly off as you drive. It can be a huge hazard for other drivers and may even cause a crash. Dix says one of the biggest misconceptions is that four-wheel drive solves everything.
Oftentimes people think, oh, I have a four-wheel drive. Well, four-wheel drives are great, but four-wheel drives don't help with stopping the car. It helps with, of course, taking off.
In reality, traction and stopping ability are the things that matter most. That's where your tires come in.
When it comes to winter preparedness, something you may want to consider is what you put on your car. Sometimes the tire matters more.
At Best One Indian Carmel, store manager Brett Barbaro says the tread and how it is designed makes a huge difference when the snow starts to fall.
So this tire here is kind of a hybrid tire between a dedicated snow tire and an all-season tire. The biggest difference between this one is all the siping.
Siping, those little slits in the tread, help a tire to grip snow and ice. Whatever tire you choose, there's one basic step that everyone needs.
Tire pressure is the most important part, right? You want to keep your tire pressures where they need to be. You don't want to be way above, you don't want to be below, you want to be what the door placard says on your car.
So when that first winter storm hits, be sure to clean the snow and ice off your car, know your vehicle's limits, and check those tires. A little prep could keep you rolling safely all winter long. I'm WRTV meteorologist Chris Swaim.
Thanks, Chris. As you know, central Indiana sees all kinds of precipitation during the winter, and the National Weather Service issues alerts based upon certain criteria. Kyle's here with a closer look so you're prepared ahead of the next winter storm.
Todd, before you rush off to the store this winter to buy bread or that milk, it's a good idea to know the difference between the various alerts issued by the National Weather Service. This will give you a better idea of how impactful a storm is expected to be. A winter storm watch is usually issued 12 to 48 hours ahead of impactful winter weather. A watch is a heads up, followed by either an advisory or a warning. A winter weather advisory means you should expect 3 to 4 inches of snow within a 12-hour period, a quarter inch or less of ice, or 1 to 2 inches of sleet. A winter storm warning elevates these thresholds. A warning means to expect either 5 inches or more of snow, a quarter inch or more of ice, or more than 2 inches of sleet. And a fairly new alert is a snow squall warning. When this is issued, it means intense bursts of snow are expected to create quick changes in visibility and could lead to slick and dangerous roads. You should avoid driving in the warned area until the squally weather has come to an end.
How often have you heard us reference I-70 when bringing you the forecast? Whether it's a spring storm or a snowstorm, I-70 seems to be right in the middle of it. Kyle's back to explain why that is. And when Indiana's fields are covered in snow, there's still plenty for our farmers to do. Macy shares the challenges and the importance of winter farm life still ahead. The jet stream is important to forecasting weather no matter what the season is, but in a typical La Nina winter, this is what your jet stream looks like. You have the polar jet, which kind of hangs right around central Indiana, separating the polar air to the north and the warmer temperatures to the south. You also have the Pacific jet, and this is the moisture source, so it brings the moisture in off the Pacific, and then it rides right along the jet stream. And I'm expecting, as we work our way throughout the winter, to have overall slightly below normal temperatures, because I do think we're prone to some Arctic outbreaks, especially early in this winter in December. And then it becomes a little more variable temperature-wise as we progress, say, into February and March. As far as storm systems go, moving along that jet stream, numerous quick-moving storms will be likely, with the potential for some minor snow events, an inch or two, maybe 3 here or there, but they could again be numerous. And then we'll also be prone to some mixed events across the area. And maybe late in the season, if we can tap into the Gulf, some bigger snows will be a possibility. We'll have more on your specific snowfall outlook for the winter coming up.
Have you ever wondered how farmers spend the winter months? I found out why it's so important to keep farms running during the coldest months of the year. With harvest complete and grain in the silos, many think a farmer's work is done until spring planting, but there's a lot going on around the farm. Shortly after the fall harvest, farmers are back in the field planting cover crops. Margaret Gladden showed us her field of oats and radishes.
The cover crops help to break up the soil and help to add nutrients back into our crop to help get them ready for next year's crop.
The plants keep growing as winter gets started.
Once we get a good hard freeze, then these will die out. But in that time, it's adding all those nutrients that we need and want for our soil.
The oats and radishes will not be harvested, but they will stay in the field until spring tilling. Other crops like winter wheat are planted to be harvested. The wheat survives Indiana's winter temperatures and whatever snow we get.
The snow has made kind of an insulated blanket over top of the soil and kind of helped it warm up some.
I visited agronomist Tyler Gabehart and farmer Luke Doherty in Johnson County last winter when snow covered Doherty's fields. They showed me that under the snow, the ground was unfrozen, the wheat unharmed. It remained dormant through winter and was ready for harvest in summer. Not only does winter snow insulate cover crops, it helps mitigate drought conditions.
Our weather pattern is certainly becoming more extreme. It seems like when we go dry, we go very dry.
Snow is good because that's going to add moisture into our ground.
However, snow is not nearly as welcome for livestock farmers. I also met Katie Brock Pennington last winter.
We call this kind of our survival mode, if you will. We need to make sure that we're doing everything we can for the calves.
When snow is in the forecast, farmers like the Brock family work around the clock to keep their herd alive.
We'll bust ice, make sure everybody has water, good fresh water to drink. We had to dig everything out and make them a spot to lay.
And after caring for the cows through the cold, farmers will get ready for calving season in late winter or early spring to move on to the next season of work, because the cycle of farming and seasons never stops. Now, you know, it often seems like Indiana is a state divided when it comes to the weather, with I-70 cutting us right in half. Kyle is back with a closer look at the major interstate and whether it really plays a role in our weather.
You hear us use I-70 as a dividing line when it comes to many weather systems sweeping across central Indiana. Perhaps it's areas north of the interstate getting in on the heaviest snow totals, while communities south of the interstate deal with a coating of ice. But why? It actually has nothing to do with the interstate itself. I-70 stretches more than 150 miles right across the middle of Indiana. It's a landmark everyone is familiar with, and that makes it a good reference point for us to share weather impacts with you. However, there are some scientific reasons that can explain differences in weather across the state. During the winter, temperatures do tend to be colder to the north than they are to the south. Lafayette averages a temperature of 29 degrees, while Bloomington comes in above the freezing mark at 33. While those numbers aren't true of every weather system, it can help explain the difference in precipitation types from north to south. Now, winter systems can also tap into Gulf moisture, which tends to boost precipitation amounts across the southern half of Indiana. Bloomington typically tops 9 inches of wet weather during the winter, while Lafayette, it's a little more than 6 inches of precipitation. So the true dividing line in any winter storm really comes down to the conditions in the atmosphere rather than any landmark.
Coming up, the fun side of winter weather, what Indiana's state parks have to offer in the cold and snow. And Snow Day, we'll tell you about some of the best sledding hills in central Indiana.
There are 24 Indiana state parks, and each offers a unique set of winter activities. If you think the parks are only fun in the warmer months, think again.
We'd like to keep our visitors very busy in the winter, just so that they don't forget about the park.
This is the Toboggan Run at Pokagon State Park in Angola, which operates through the winter with or without snow. But there are activities at all parks during winter months, and you can still hike and camp in Indiana state parks.
RVs and trailers have advanced heating systems, so it makes the camping season longer, so they don't have to be uncomfortable. Several of our parks have family cabins, which are heated, and they're super fun because you can play out in the park all day, get a little chill, and then head back to your cabin.
Parts of the park are seen in a new light during winter.
The leaves have fallen off the trees for the most part. Sometimes that makes bird watching a little better. But in the daytime, you'll see animals that are coming out because it is the warmest part of a winter day. And to me, one of the funnest parts is, if there's a nice blanket of snow, looking for the tracks of animals.
While you can't rent skis at the parks, cross-country skiing is welcome, and many parks have designated ski trails. You can also try ice bikes at Turkey Run. The DNR also operates 200 miles of snowmobile trails across northern Indiana. There's also the First Day Hike, which is led by park naturalists to kick off every new year. So when you feel like you're getting cabin fever this winter, don't forget to get outdoors. Now, from fun in our state parks to screams of delight, Chris joins us with some of the best sledding hills in central Indiana.
Yeah, if you like to go fast here, Macy, we'll keep the fun times rolling. A couple of places you can go to check out some good sledding around parts of our area. You can head over to our website, WRTV.com. Under the Weather Blogs tab, you'll find this article, which is the best sledding hills in central Indiana. You scroll down, and we've embedded a map. We've included some of the best hills around our area. We're going to name a couple here. Let's go inside 465, Ellenberger Park, a good option. Here's video that we've shot in the past there of a good hill, free and open to the public, a good option for families, a good starter hill. Heading back to the map, we'll take you up north. Another good place is Kotiwi. Run seasonal slopes, a good option here, but it is paid. But know that they have snow guns firing. Here's video courtesy of Kotiwi where they make snow, so it's a good option even when it gets colder, but maybe we haven't had a lot of snow. One to consider, or you could head a little bit farther south. We'll take you back to the map one more time on the north side of Indianapolis. West Park near Carmel, another good option, a good hill there to go down with the family. There are plenty of options around central Indiana. Again, we've put this map together. Go check it out. If I left any off or you know a good hidden gem, feel free to reach out to me. I'll add it to this list, but you can find that on our website, WRTV, under the Weather Blogs tab at any time.
Thanks, Chris. Hopefully we can put those hills to good use this winter at some point. Now, before I give our final snowfall prediction, let's quickly recap the average snow we see across the state in a given winter. Snowfall totals range from less than 10 inches on average in southern Indiana to over 30 in northern portions of the state. And in the metro area, we average around 25.5 inches. This year, I'm expecting slightly below normal snowfall totals in the metro area. Even though it's going to be active, some of those events could be mixed and some could be rain. Now, one caveat, though, will be for those of you in northern communities. Lake Michigan is running really warm this year. So until those waters cool, the lake will be open for business. So we certainly could have some significant early season snowfall totals in northern communities. One question that always comes up each year is whether we'll have a white Christmas. Well, the odds in Indianapolis is roughly right around 25%. North of Indy, the odds are a bit higher, and then lower to the south. The last time snow fell on Christmas Day was 2020, and the last time we had over an inch of snow on the ground was 2022. Now, while it's too early to tell this year, the pattern does look active through December. So if you are dreaming of a white Christmas this year, your dreams, well, they may come true. Winter weather impacts all of us and will likely throw us a variety of issues at times. But the WRTV Storm Team will be here to guide you through it on air and online. We'll get through it together. I'm Chief Meteorologist Todd Clausen for Kyle, Macy, and Chris. Thanks for joining us.